name is Vina, aka Miss WOC Reader, and welcome back to my channel. And welcome to my August monthly wrap-up, take 2. I say take 2 because I filmed this video already and then accidentally deleted it, which was just a fitting metaphor for how bad of a reading month August was for me. It was just not good for 2 reasons. One, it's ragweed season. My allergies are acting up, which I've been saying in every video I've been making recently, but it's still really bad. Like, I'm still struggling to breathe. I'm still taking multiple pills a day. I'm congested. Like, it was really, really bad, particularly the last 2 weeks of August. Like, I'm talking about eyes watering, so I couldn't, like, sit down and film much. Head so foggy I didn't want to concentrate on anything, so I was just like mindlessly watching TV. Me and TV became real close that week. And also, like, I was feeling slumpy from reading a bad book, which I'm going to get into that bad book soon. So yeah, it didn't go as expected, unfortunately, and I'm hoping September is much better. So the bad book that I read was This Ravenous Fate by Haley Deng. So I never followed Haley. Like, I've seen a few of her videos here and there, so no shade, like, nothing wrong with her. I'm sure she's a sweet girl, but this writing in this was not it. I feel like it needed a lot more development to figure out what the heart of the story was, because I feel like she just got this concept, like, sapphic vampires, 1920s, but she didn't know how to tie it together. I was very intrigued by this because I have never seen anything YA set during the Harlem Renaissance, and Harlem Renaissance stories always fascinate me, but she didn't do a good job capturing that time period whatsoever. Like, a lot of the buildings in Harlem are still the same, so maybe it would have been beneficial for her to maybe go visit Harlem and walk around the neighborhoods and, you know, just experience the life within that area, so she could have described, like, the buildings and stuff better. You didn't get a good strong sense of atmosphere for the setting. This could have been set in anywhere USA, to be honest. Also, you didn't get a strong sense of the time period. I love a good historical fiction. A lot of authors try to make the argument that they use modern language in YA historical to make it more accessible, and I just disagree with that. I think it's just being lazy for the most part, because people do it well in middle grade, people do it well in adult. Obviously, there is a way to make the language both accessible but still fit the time period, and using a lot of modern language in it does nothing but ground your story back into the present when you really do want it to reflect the past. They just talked like girls from the 2020s in this book, which was kind of upsetting. When I was really looking for that vibe, like, other than some mentions of hair here and there, maybe some mentions of gowns and gangsters and clubs, you didn't really get a sense of the time period. There was a lot of like repetitive conversation about black people have it so hard because blah 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 blah, and like that I can't even say was rooted in the 1920s, because black people have had it hard in this country literally every decade we've been here. It's just by the nature of how black people have come over here. And yeah, so like I feel like every few chapters was like, black people just have it so hard in this country. We can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do that. And I'm sitting here like, we still can't do a lot of this shit. Like, very little has changed like for us since the 1920s, like when you look at things overall. So the racial commentary in here was very flat to me and quite very obvious, which I feel like a lot of racial commentary is in YA recently, but that's another discussion. Overall, like, I wanted like a good like story, and that just wasn't happening here. I was kind of bored off of chapter 1, but I'm like, let me keep going, you know, sometimes these things get better. And then like I was seeing a lot of people talk about DNFing, and I'm like, you know, I need to now see it to the end to like be able to talk about it. And I'm like, maybe I'll have some strong things to say at the end, but no, it just continued to be flat. It felt like the story wasn't really moving. We're getting told that Elise and Layla are enemies over and over again, but we're not actually seeing them act as enemies. They just like seemed like friends who haven't caught up with each other in a while. Elise comes from a family who is in the Reaper hunting business, but she is not actually like a hunter herself. So that part also fell flat. Like her father wants to force her into the family business, but she's adamantly against it. And her father was a very cartoon villain. I didn't understand his motivations. I didn't understand why he was so mean to her. Why he kept insisting like your sister is better, your sister is better. It just felt like unnuanced and just like evil to be evil, which I hate. Like I wanted more insight as to how their relationship got like that, and that just was not playing out here. And there was plenty enough page space for it to play out. Also, Layla, who is a vampire, had more chemistry with the vampire May, who was in like her, I don't want to say coven because that's witches, but it was kind of like a coven of vampires that she was a part of. They had like great chemistry, and when they were kissing, like I was like, oh. When she and Elise were kissing, I was like, eh. Same with like Elise, she had more chemistry with her bodyguard than she ever did with Layla. So like we're getting told like there's a strong passion and pull between them, and none of that was on page. I didn't really care about the mystery of anything here. I wouldn't be able to describe it to you if you asked me. We found out somebody who was obviously evil was evil. Like, again, it was obvious, so that wasn't really a twist to me. And like, I don't know, like nobody here really stood out personality wise. Even like there was some blood and gore. It was like there's a bit of intrigue and seductiveness that I feel like you need in a vampire story, but is not usually present in like these YA vampire stories. And it was definitely missing here, and that would have just like pulled it over the edge where it needed to be. So yeah, so overall, like I wasn't impressed by the writing here. It was just very cliche upon cliche, which in a lot of YA authors tend to fall in that trap of just writing the cliche style, and I really need people to push forth and break out of that. Like, I know it's so easy to fall into that, but that's like one of the first things you're like advised in a writing class is to avoid cliches and really try to say things in a different way. Like there was just a lot of like fluffy type of writing here that didn't really work, and like the dialogue felt clunky and unrealistic because of it. So yeah, overall this didn't work for me. This was putting me into a slump, and I like it was long too. Like look at this book, it's thick. So by the time I got done with it, I was really disappointed. So after that disappointment, I had no motivation to really read anything, combined with just like my head being foggy. So I'm like, I'm gonna read something easy. So I had heard about this comic book series, so I was intrigued by it, but I didn't want to buy it because buying comic books can be expensive, especially if you're buying the bind-ups. So I'm like, let me wait till my library gets it. And at first, none of my libraries had it, which I have 5 libraries, so that was kind of surprising. But I was able to get it because like they started adding it, and I'm like, yes. So this one is The Magic Order by Mark Miller. And this is under like Netflix's comic book group, so like they specifically had him like pitch and develop this because they wanted to make it into a show, and they've been trying to make it into a show, but like the first roadblock was the pandemic, which kind of canceled things and slowed things down, and then the next roadblock was the writers and actors strike. So like it's up into the air right now as to when it'll become a series, but I definitely can see why they wanted it to become a series because it's definitely in line with like the types of stories that Netflix likes. And I do think with the large ensemble cast, it could make for like a really interesting show. So in the Magic Order, we're following this family. They're like a mafia type family, but for magic, like they help police how people use magic in the world, and they kind of control a lot of it. So we're following different people in this family, and it's actually like a pretty diverse family for like a mafia. They have people of different sexual orientations and race and stuff, and also people coming from different parts of the US. Like there are members based in Detroit, there are members based in New York, there are members based in Chicago, in Jersey, in Philly. So I thought that was pretty cool, being able to jump around the US and follow different people. It took a couple of issues to like find its footing. At first we weren't getting much information. We were getting like scenes like where I was just kind of confused as to what the fuck was happening. But what really got me was in the 6th issue, which was the last one in the volume. Like this character who seemed like one of the good ones, who wanted nothing to do with the business, just kind of took a turn that I really liked. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm invested now, so I'm going to read volume 2 and see what's going on. So, I said my August month was a bust. I will link in the description box below the video from the first half of the month where I read some more books. Obviously, you can get my thoughts there. Let me know how your August was. Was it a good reading month or a bad reading month for you? And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!